Well, hello, paper crafters. My name is Juanette, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in the United States. In my last video tutorial, I had said once I reach 1,000 subscribers, I would randomly pick someone who had left a comment, and they would win this stamp and die set, All Things Fabulous and Fabulous Florals. So I've gone through and I have written down everybody's name that left a comment since I first started my video tutorials, and I'm just going to do these last few. And mix them up a little bit and pick someone's name. Alrighty, it's this person. Bobby Miller. Bobby Miller is earning that stamp and die set. So Bobby, if you would contact me and let me know your mailing address, I will mail that to you. So congratulations, how exciting. So in today's tutorial, I am going to be working on a card that I'm calling a junk journal birthday card. I have recently been introduced to junk journaling by Sam over at Mixed Up Crafts. And when she first showed me a junk journal, I didn't even know what a signature is. So that's how far I've come. And you saw the tutorial on the one I made for my sister. This is the one I'm working on right now. I haven't completed it yet, but it's actually my calendar. And I love the feel of the paper and just decorating everything. So I'm having so much fun doing this. So I decided to make a card similar to a junk journal. This is the first one I made. Now the paper I used was the World of Good Designer Series paper, but I also used the Memories and More card pack, which really helps with being able to have everything coordinate well. I used that and some of our ribbon. This is current ribbon. This is retired, some of our numbers from our stamp sets, and I just distressed it. I used very vanilla cardstock. This is just some coffee stained tracing paper. This is a paper bag. This is called a signature, if you don't know that, and this is a really small one because it's just for a birthday card. And then this one I did a little bit more detail. This one I glued some doily onto it. Again, pretty much the same on the front, but I added a little bit more. This is one of our vellum doilies, which I sewed in there. Again, fantastic paper. I love it. Another little doily, may your birthday be memorable. And I may still add a few things into it. Wishing you all things fabulous. These are all of our sentiments from our stamp sets. Happy birthday. Thank you for making a difference in my life. Again, the other little doily. Nobody gets me like you do. And that finishes it off. So anyway, again, thank you for all my subscribers. As of today, I have 1,005 subscribers, and congratulations again, Bobby Miller, for winning the stamp and die set. And let's get started on this tutorial. So let's go over some of the things that you will need to make this project. I use the World of Good Memories and More card pack, the Old World 3D embossing folder, Make a Difference. That's where I use the numbers. By the Dock, the happy birthday there in that set. You will need some embroidery floss and a large needle to sew in your signature. I used Mossy Meadow and soft suede inks, and I also used a rectangular postage stamp punch. I used various different kinds of ribbon. This is cinnamon cider. That is some retired burlap. This is our current Mossy Meadow diagonal stripe ribbon, and then just some twine. Now, even though I'm showing you full sheets of designer series paper, you will really only need scraps. This is a great way to use up some of your scraps. So what your base will be to the card is a piece of very vanilla that is 8 1/4 by 5 1/4. And I actually decided to go a little bit smaller than our standard size card just because of the additional bulk with this card. I wanted it to fit into an envelope nicely. So then you will score that in the middle and fold and burnish it. Then your next piece of paper is 8 by 5. It's coffee stained, and you're going to fold it in half, score it at 4, fold and burnish that. And then this is my tracing paper that is also coffee dyed. And what I'm going to do is tear that with a tearing ruler. So it's actually about 12 inches long by 5, and I tear it at the 4-inch mark. So it ends up being about 8 1/8 by 5 inches. Fold it in half, and those will tuck nicely into each other to start building your signature. See how that fits in there nicely? So then you're going to take soft suede ink and a dauber, and you're going to just distress all the edges of all your things that you're going to glue onto your card. That's the happy birthday, and you can see how that really distresses that very vanilla cardstock so that it looks older. And all those other pieces are just scraps that I tore up. That one there, I embossed with the 3D embossing folder. This is something you can do while just sitting in front of the TV watching a movie. That little piece there is from a paper bag that I coffee stained. Now I love that little saying right there. That's from the Memories and More card pack, and it says work, play, travel, repeat. That is from Make a Difference stamp set. And again, it's just stamped in Mossy Meadow over a paper bag. That's a 1-inch circle punch that I used some of the numbers from the Make a Difference stamp set and stamped those out. Numbers seem to be a big thing with junk journaling. Now I'm going to just show you some little tip that I recently had heard from somebody else on a video. There are little containers that you can buy at your craft store. I'm showing you one right there. They are to hold beads. Well, they are the perfect size for those little daubers that you stick with Velcro onto that handle. Now that's full of ink, so I am really getting my fingers messy there. But if it's perfectly in there and has a lid, then I actually even take the name of that color and put it over the top. Sorry, I had to go wash my hands. So do you see how that top of that little container has the color? So I will keep that dauber in there all the time. So I will use that same one every time I use soft suede. So I take a blending brush and then I distress my Very Vanilla cardstock on both sides and even on the edges where it folds. And then you will also distress the other piece of paper on all the edges. So then when I was distressing the edges of this vellum piece, I realized as I had it on my scratched piece of paper that it could be used as a stencil because it is actually quite firm. So I just added it on top of one of my papers that I'm going to be stitching into my signature and use that to stencil over that piece of paper. I think it came out quite nice. Then I had also had this doily that I had coffee stained, and I realized I wanted to add another layer into my signature. So I just lined it up with my paper, knowing where I would need to cut it off, and cut off both ends, and that can be part of a signature. So then you want to see how you want to layer up your signatures. Now I knew I wanted that stronger piece of paper to be in the center. Then I have the doily, then I have the tracing paper, then the vellum, and then my cardstock as my back piece. So what you need to do to sew that into place is you line it up so that each of those edges butt up against each other, and that you make sure you have enough little bit of a give on both sides of the outer cover. You take your embroidery floss, and that is a kind of a dark chocolate brown color, and I used all of the strands of thread, and you're going to go into the middle of your signature, down, then you will come up on the outside, and you're going to have about, maybe an inch, inch and a half from the edge of the top there. So you bring your thread up, and now you're going to just cross over that middle section there, and again go down into the middle of the signature there, and again about, maybe inch and a half from the bottom, and then pull your thread taut, then come up through that middle line that you have your thread. And what you want to do is make sure that you have thread on the left side and the right side. And you see how nice and taut that is? There's no loose ends there. And then you're just going to tie 2 knots with the thread on each side of the middle thread there, and that will secure it in place, and then just tie it into a little bow. Now if you want, if it was for a masculine signature or a little junk journal card, you could leave the bow off and just tie a couple of knots there. And then just so I don't lose my needle, I just thread it into the top of that little cardboard piece that has my embroidery thread there. And so see, as you look through it, I've got my outer cover, then the square doily, tracing paper, another doily, a journaling page, and then the other side. So now I'm going to start decorating it, and I did cut a lot of this out of the video because you guys don't need to see me glue all this stuff down. But again, it's just all those little scraps that I distressed, and I start with my largest piece and then just build around it using my Beacons 3-in-1 glue to adhere it down. And again, like I said, I cut a lot of this out. See, I've done a lot of the front there. Now I'm putting in that little bitty number that I stamped using the Make a Difference number stamps. And then I just love that little saying there. Work, play, travel, repeat. That's me to a T. Then these Memories and More sheets are fantastic because I just distressed a little bit of one of those stickers and then just added a little bit of extra glue to the back of it so that it wouldn't fall off, and added that to the card. This would make a very, very nice masculine card. Now this is some of our mossy meadow twine, and I don't believe it's available any longer, but you can use any kind of twine that you might have that would match. So I just kind of fold it up several times, then use a little bit of Fabri-Tac glue and add that to the front of the card, and that just gives us a little bit more texture on that card. I end up gluing a little saying over the top of it, a sentiment that says today was a great day, and that just helps hold it in place. And then again, I bring out my Memories and More stickers and just add them into a few empty spots. That really makes it simple there. And then this saying is sentiment is also from the Make a Difference stamp set, and I had completely forgot about it, but I love it. Handcrafted just for you, and I stamped that on a paper bag, distressed it, and added it to the back of the card. And then this is the happy birthday, and I'm adding it to the center. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I again appreciate each and every single one of you. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you next Monday. Thanks, bye, and congratulations, Bobby.